Hi and welcome to my video. Today's video is going to be the 10th update to the Project 10 Uses Eyeshadows Only edition. In this project, I have 5 eyeshadows in at the same time. To roll them out, I have to use them 10 times. To roll in new eyeshadows, I use the master prompt list by Laney. Her YouTube channel is going to be linked in my description, so if you are interested, you can go check her out. The first eyeshadow I have in this project comes from my Natasha Denona Xenon palette. It is a shade called Ebb. This is what it looks like. I rolled it in for the prompt a blue shimmer shadow. In the last update, I had 9 uses on it, so I only had to use it one more time to hit my goal and I can roll it out. In this project, I only use this as a liner. That's why the dip is kind of so like deep and visible, because the liner brush is just so teeny tiny. It kind of like digs into the pan. The next shade in this project, I pulled in for the prompt a green matte shadow, and I chose this little ColourPop quad called Tidal Wave. I decided that this is the closest eyeshadow in my collection to a green matte. It is called Boardwalk. In the last update, I had 2 uses on it, and since then I have managed to use it 2 more times. So that is in total 4 uses, and it's gonna be staying in until the end of this project. I really don't fancy blue or green eyeshadow, so this is really a struggle for me. Especially if you hear that the next shade in this project I pulled in for the prompt a blue matte eyeshadow. And I chose my ColourPop Cabana Club palette. In here there is a blue, dark blue shade. Here it is called Pool Party. This one, in the last update, I had 2 uses on it, and since then I have managed to use it 3 more times. That is 5 uses in total, so I need 5 more uses on it until I can roll it out, or maybe possibly the project will just end before I even hit my uses on it. This project is ending on 10th of December, and I am not gonna be bringing it back for the next year, but I have something, I would say, more interesting planned for next year that has to do with eyeshadows. The blue shade I use as a liner as well. I don't think I have used it in any other way except for a liner. Maybe I used it once last month on my lower lash line, but every other use has been as a liner. And the green that I talked about previously, I really don't know how to use that. I just try to like use it on the days that I am not planning on leaving the house, just anyway, honestly anyway. I used it in my inner corner once, and I actually did kind of like it. I have a picture of it. I will show it to you when we get to that portion of the video. But for the next shade, we are going back to my Natasha Denona Xenon palette. I pulled this shade for the prompt Topper shade, and I chose this eyeshadow down here. It is called Skift, or I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. But there it is. It is a lovely, lovely topper shade. I used it way more than 10 times. I used it probably about 20 times, and I just absolutely love it. So when I had every other shade laid down already, I would just either pop it on the inner corner, pop it on just the shimmery part of the look, or just all over the lid, like literally up to the eyebrow. It would make the look so like ethereal and so pretty. I absolutely love this shade, and I cannot put this palette down. And the last palette that is in this project at the moment is my ColourPop That's Taupe palette. In here there is a shade called Cold Blooded. Here it is, and this shade I rolled in for a shadow that starts with C. I have used this shade 4 times, so 6 more uses to roll it out of this project, but I do actually really enjoy it. It is quite dark for a shimmer for my taste, but I do like it, and I will definitely hit my 10 uses for the finale of this project. So I just realized that I forgot to swatch again, but that's fine. I think it's already expected of me to forget to swatch in this project, but here are the swatches. We have the shade called Ebb from the Natasha palette. We have the ColourPop green shade called Boardwalk. Then we have Pool Party, we have Skift, and we have Cold Blooded here. Now let's check out some makeup looks that I have created in the past month with these eyeshadows. So in the first look, I have the shade Cold Blooded in the inner portion of my lid, and I have the whole lid topped off with the topper shade. It is so pretty. I absolutely love it, and I'm pretty sure I have that in my inner corner as well. In the next look, I have Ebb. That's the final use that I needed for Ebb. I am using it as a liner. It is so pretty. I absolutely love this as a liner. I have the topper shade again all over my lid, and I have the shade called Cold Blooded on my lower lash line. Everything else comes from my Pandit palette for the year. In the next look, actually, I have the shade called Pool Party as an outer wing, and then on my like lash line, upper lash line, I have the shade called Boardwalk, but you can't really tell that it's there because I have topped it off with the shade called Cold Blooded on the inner portion of my lid, so it's kind of covering the liner as well. That was not intentional, that is just a skill issue again. And on the last look, I have the shade called Pool Party again as a liner, and I have Boardwalk on my inner corner topped off with a really beautiful shimmery iridescent shade from the Xenon palette. So now we can roll in some new eyeshadows. To be precise, we're gonna be rolling in 2 new eyeshadows for Ebb and for... what was the shade called again? The topper shade. Both of them are from the Natasha Denona Xenon palette. So we're gonna be rolling that palette out completely, but maybe we're gonna be pulling it back in. We'll see. I have pulled up the master prompt list by Laney. I am using the duplicate prompts removed list, and I also have a random number generator pulled up. Let's put in numbers from 1 to 86 and see what we get. That is 54. Number 54 is a shadow from your palette with the most pans. Okay, so the palette with the most pans is... I actually know what it is. And the next number we get is number 50. Okay, those are quite close to each other. We get shadow from a monochromatic palette. Okay, that's cool. I had that prompt before as well. I worked on a purple shadow, and I won't pull the purple shadow in again. That's kind of boring. I'll find something else. I have plenty of monochromatic palettes. I'll be right back. So my palette with the most pans in it is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Normina palette. It currently has 4 pans in here, and I have decided to be boring again with this palette and choose a gimme for the end of the year. So I'm pulling in this shade here called Base. This is a lid setting shade, and I'm just gonna use this 10 times, and that's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. But I do think that I need something easy for the end of the year because I have a green shade and a blue shade that are gonna be very hard for me to try to get 5 and 6 more uses out of. So this, just let me have this. And the other prompt we got was a monochromatic palette, and I am pulling in another ColourPop little quad. This one is called Peaches and Dreams. It is a beachy monochromatic palette. I am pulling in this inner corner shade up here. It is called Sleeping In, and it is an absolutely beautiful inner corner shade. Here it is. It is like a pinky peachy, very high shine shade, and I love this for my inner corner, even though I am trying to get more uses out of an inner corner shade in my Panda palette, but I'm still pulling this one in because I don't think 10 uses is a lot, actually, because the end of the year is so close. It's fine. I love this inner corner shade. It's not going to be a chore at all. I like the whole like bottom of the new color story. These 2 shades I really don't care about. I will possibly maybe declutter them, both of them. And the new color story, I think I prefer the new color story. They are quite similar. It's just blues and greens and some shimmers, but I do think I prefer the new one. So there you go. That is the 10th update for the Project 10 Uses Eyeshadows Only edition, and the next one next month is gonna be the finale. That's why I'm trying to pick some easy shades. Make sure that I actually hit my goal on them before the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing as well. Thank you so much, and bye bye.